gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Last chance for the Yankees to pick up a win here at Angel Stadium this season. The Yankees have dropped the first two games of this series. As today, Benjamin Moore presents the Wednesday game of the week. It'll be the Yankees and the Los Angeles Angels from Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. Hi, everybody. Ken Singleton along with John Friarley. Yes, the Yankees have lost the first two games of this series. First game by a score of 4-1, and last night by a score of 2-1. As we all know, the Yankee offense is predicated upon the long ball. They are second in the American League in home runs. And Flash, sometimes you live by the home run, and sometimes you die by the home run.
Yeah, Kenny, there were three big swings in the game last night. It started with Mark Teixeira hitting his 19th home run of the year, a good sign for the Yankees. When they swing for the fences, they usually win ball games. Nova struggled a little bit in the sixth inning. Albert Pujols, his 24th home run of the year. That is not surprising, having a big rebound year. The one thing that does surprise you is the number 5 hitter in the lineup, Eric Ibar, going dead central. His second home run of the year gives the Angels a 2-1 lead, and that would prove to be the difference in the ball game.
Well, it's time for the Cold Hard Facts. Are brought to you by Clean, Crisp, Coors Light. You can see on Saturday in Houston against the Astros, the Yankees scored 9 runs in that game, 3 home runs, 6 extra base hits. But in the next 3 ball games, including the first 2 here, 3 runs. They've hit 135 as a team. You saw the home run they hit was by Mark Teixeira, and only 3 extra base hits. Well, that's the hitting. Let's turn to the pitching. And the People's United Bank NA, see what know-how can do for you. This is our pitching matchup of the day. Matt Shoemaker, 4-6 with a 5.03, making his first ever start against the New York Yankees. And Nathan Eovaldi, 7-2. He's been pitching very well for the Yankees of late, Flash.
Yeah, Kenny, I think he's figured out the recipe for success, using the breaking ball early in counts and then being able to elevate the fastball later. This start in Houston, one of his best of the year. The split finger was an outstanding pitch. Pitching in front of his hometown fans, Nolan Ryan in attendance, an outstanding performance for Eovaldi. 6 strikeouts, and more importantly, picked up the W.
Yeah, the Yankees won that game. As we said, this is the Yankees' last game on the West Coast this year. Now, something that could affect the race in the East, all 4 of their division rivals still have to come out and make this long trip out west. Lineup's first pitch baseball next on Yes. Pixels in theaters July 24th by Advanced Radiation Centers of New York. When it comes to fighting cancer, precision is everything. Call 844-2-RADIATION-DOC. And by Honda. Start something special with a great deal on a Honda. Now at your Honda dealer. Here's a good look at Angel Stadium. Palm trees framing a beautiful ballpark, and now we come inside of the ballpark here at Angel Stadium. The Angels have yet to take the field for the final game of this 3-game series. they have won the first two. Let's check out the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. And it is a sort of overcast afternoon here in Southern California, but the temperature is fine. 83 degrees, humidity at 42%, wind at 7 miles per hour. Forecast partly cloudy and warm. The Angels have taken the field. As we mentioned, they have won the first two games of this series. The Yankees trying to salvage the final game of the series. Let's take a look at the Yankee lineup presented by Lexus. They'll be facing that right-hander, Matt Shoemaker. And leading off for the Yankees at the very top, it's Brett Gardner. He has been hot. His average up to 305. Chase Headley batting second. Alex Rodriguez, the designated hitter, will bat third. Cleaning up is Mark Teixeira. He'll be at first base. Catching is Brian McCann, followed by Garrett Jones. He'll be in right field. Chris Young is in left. D.D. Gregorius will be at shortstop. And batting ninth and playing second base, Stephen Drew.
That lineup for the Yankees trying to get something going offensively, and they'll try to do it against Matt Shoemaker, the right-hander, taking his warm-up tosses. We'll look at his numbers on the year. Had a great year last year, a little tough start this year, 4-6, 5.03 ERA, and we'll check out our pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Tough luck loser his last time out, 6 innings, 2 earned runs against the Mariners. The Angels lost that game 3-1. He's had some home run trouble this year. He's given up 15 long balls already, only 14 all of last year. And he was in second place for the Rookie of the Year voting last year. He lost out to Jose Abreu, but had a great year last year, 16 wins.
So Shoemaker gets the start. Brett Gardner will be coming to the plate in just a few moments. Let's check out the defense presented by Geico, the Angels defense. And from in the outfield, it's going to be Matt Joyce in left. Mike Trout in center. Cole Calhoun will be in right field. Around the infield, Freese at third, Ibar short, Giavottola at second, and Navarro playing first base this afternoon. And Chris Iannetta doing the catching. Well, the Yankees trying to get something going offensively. They kind of wasted a good start by Ivan Nova the last night flash. Worked 5 1/3 strong innings, then gave up the back-to-back home runs. And that was just enough for the Angels to pick up a win in the second game of this series.
Noticing a little bit of a trend, though, the last 3 games. The last one in Houston, the 2 games here in Anaheim, struggling offensively.
Well, it's a long trip back to New York. The Yankees would certainly like to take a victory with them on that long flight. They're scheduled to get in early in the morning tomorrow. Gardner about to step in. He's hitting .305 with 9 home runs and 39 runs batted in. He had one of the 2 Yankee hits last night. It moves his hitting streak to 8 straight games. Here we go here in Anaheim. And the first pitch is just off the outside corner, and it is ball 1. Home plate umpire this afternoon is Fielding Culbreth. He is also the crew chief. Shoemaker deals, and this pitch is fouled off, and the count is 1-1. Shoemaker, a non-drafted free agent signed by the Angels out of Eastern Michigan University. 2011, he was the Angels minor league pitcher of the year. 12 wins, 5 losses, 2.48 ERA for the Arkansas Travelers. This pitch is fouled off by Gardner. It's 1-2. I think that's one of the cooler names in the minor leagues, the Arkansas Travelers, longtime members of the Texas League.
Well, not bad. Was not drafted and ends up second in the Rookie of the Year voting last year with 16 wins. ERA just over 3.
The 1-2 pitch, and Gardner swings and misses strike 3, and he's gone.
Shoemaker off to a good start, attacking Brett Gardner with the fastball. He's got an outstanding split finger that he can get some swings and misses. And there it is.
Yeah, they say that's his best pitch. That's his put-away pitch, and he gets Gardner with it. It'll bring up Chase Headley. Headley, like some of the Yankees, having a slow road trip. 2 for 22 on this trip. That pitch is upstairs for ball 1. And when you break down the Yankee offense, home versus away, the Yankees are much better at home. Much, much better. They hit .282 at Yankee Stadium, .233 on the road as a team. Pitches swung on and missed. Count evens up at a ball and a strike. And 62 of their 103 home runs have come in the Bronx. You would expect that might level out as the season goes along here. We're almost halfway through. Pitch is fouled back. Ball and 2 strikes on Headley. But on this particular trip, just one big game. That game in Houston where they scored the 9 runs.
Well, everybody loves power, but you really need to have something else to go to, manufacturing some runs.
Headley has to skip rope, gets out of the way, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Shoemaker really establishing the fastball early.
Shoemaker spent 6 years in the minor leagues. Well, there's some perseverance there. He's 28 years old. 2-2 pitch hit in the air towards left field. Matt Joyce moving over towards the line, makes the catch, and that's out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down for the Yankees. Let's listen as A-Rod comes to the plate. Well, you heard a lot of boos here, but I don't know if these fans would be booing A-Rod if they knew something that he did before the game. There was this former soldier back from Afghanistan, and he had a sign. He says, "I brought my son to see A-Rod." And A-Rod went over and said hello. First pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. No balls and 1 strike. Alex Rodriguez 3 for 18 on the trip. That pitch is in there for strike 2. Alex signed an autograph for the soldier and his young son. A-Rod in the hole, no balls and 2 strikes. Shoemaker deals, fastball upstairs, 1-2. Shoemaker's fastball tops out 92, 93 miles an hour.
People around the Angels were saying the velocity with the fastball has not been great early this year, but it's coming back a little bit.
1-2 pitch hit in the center field for a base hit. There's the first hit of the game. A solid single off the bat of Alex Rodriguez with 2 down. So A-Rod with a single. And we're going to take a look at Honda League leaders, and right at the very top is this man, Mark Teixeira. 54 runs batted in. That's in the American League, followed by Bautista, Vogt, Cabrera, and Donaldson. Last night, the only run of the game for the Yankees, Teixeira's 19th home run of the season. Over the wall in left center field. Angels employing the shift. 3 infielders on the right side of the infield. The outfield, with the exception of Trout, and there's a story. Mike Trout doesn't play all that deep. This year they wanted to play closer to cut off balls that would drop in front of him for singles. But he has shown in this series he can go back on a fly ball and make some catches. Curveball hit in the air to left field. Joyce is there, and Joyce makes the catch, and the Yankees go into first. They get a hit from Alex Rodriguez and nothing else. At the end of half an inning, the Yankees have not scored. Evaldi at the very top. Johnny Giavotella. He'll be followed by Cole Calhoun in right field. Mike Trout in center, cleaning up this afternoon. Albert Pujols, he's the designated hitter. Eric Ibar's at shortstop, followed by David Freese at third baseman. Then Matt Joyce in left. The veteran Chris Iannetta doing the catching, and Efrain Navarro gets the start. He'll be batting ninth at first base.
Well, manager Mike Scioscia sends that lineup out there against Nathan Evaldi. Finishing up his warm-up pitches. We'll look at his numbers on the year. One loss record is outstanding for Evaldi. 7-2, 4.81 ERA. We'll look at our pitcher scouting report. It's always brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Last time out, a great mix of pitches against the Houston Astros. 6 innings, 2 earned runs, picked up the win. Doing a great job against left-handed batters lately. 15 at-bats, only 1 hit for lefties his last 2 starts, and he gets plenty of run support, 7.43 runs per game. That's second highest in the big leagues, and the Yankees would love to get 7 runs today. They've been struggling.
Here's Evaldi's first pitch of the afternoon, and Giavotella takes it over the outside corner for a call strike. 96 miles an hour with the fastball. Evaldi can rush it up there. Flash, you mentioned Evaldi's record 7-2. He's made 15 starts. The Yankees are 9-6 in those 15 starts. Next pitch, hit hard, going into right field for a base hit. Giavotella's on with a base hit, and now is 2 for 7 in this series. Let's check out the Yankees on defense. Brought to you by Geico. In the outfield, Young, Chris Young in left, Brett Gardner in center, Garrett Jones in right, Chase Headley at third, D.D. Gregorius at short, Stephen Drew at second, Mark Teixeira at first, and Brian McCann doing the catching for Nathan Evaldi. So the Angels have the leadoff man on. It'll bring up Cole Calhoun, who is 2 for 8 in the first 2 games of this series. Those are his overall numbers on the season. Evaldi deals, and a breaking ball is in there for a call strike. And Flash, you mentioned the fact that he's been using his curveball a lot more. His split. I talked to Larry Rothschild, the Yankee pitching coach, and he said that pitch that they worked on in spring training is starting to come around, being more effective.
Yeah, the 15 at bats for left-handed hitters. You get a look at Larry Rothschild. The last 2 starts, a split finger, I think, has been the neutralizer against lefties. It's taken a little while, but I think that Evaldi now has the confidence in it.
That's outside, 1-1.
His last time against the Houston Astros, really going off speed early and then trying to sneak that fastball by some hitters late. It was a great combination, great pitch selection, looked very comfortable doing it, and looked under control, which was the big thing watching him pitch his last time out.
And that was the start in Houston, as you mentioned, not far from his hometown of Alvin, Texas. That pitch misses. 2 balls and a strike. So not only pitching in your hometown, how many tickets did he leave that day? About 30?
And not only that, he had Nolan Ryan sitting in the front row right behind home plate. So every time you look in for a sign, you get a peek at your idol,
Mr. Alvin, Texas.
And he did not disappoint. And a great ball game. I got a chance to speak with Nolan Ryan the next day. So all in all, a good trip to Houston for Nathan Evaldi.
And Nolan said he liked what he saw.
It was hard not to.
Yeah.
And he showed it all that game. Curveball, slider, split, and a good fastball.
You just saw the move to first base to check on Giavotella. That's another thing that Evaldi brings to the mound. He's got a good pickoff move for a right-handed pitcher. He's picked off 3 runners this year. Very hard to steal a base with him on the mound. Just outside, and now the count is run to 3-1.
I guess it's a good combination. Evaldi on the mound and Brian McCann behind the plate, who's been throwing the ball as good as I have ever seen him the last couple of games. As Mike Trout waiting on deck.
(3-1) pitch, and that does hit the corner. Count is now full at 3-2.
Good fastball right on the outside corner. Brian McCann bringing it back to the strike zone.
You appreciate that, don't you, Flash?
You know what's fun now is that these catchers are getting recognized for their pitch framing ability. You never used to hear about that when we were playing, Kenny.
We used to do it, though, didn't you? Swung on and missed. Strike 3. So Calhoun, who had to count his way at 3-1, eventually strikes out.
Rears back and fires with that fastball elevated a little bit. Brian McCann doesn't need to worry about framing that one. It's right by Cole Calhoun.
So 1 out, 1 on. It'll bring up Mike Trout. He's had a pretty good series. He's had a home run in this series, his 20th of the year. 3 for 7. One of the better run producers in all of baseball. Here's Giavotella at first with 1 out. Trout very difficult to double up. Outfielders are deep and straight away.
We've seen in this series Mike Trout will give you strike one. Very patient first pitch of the at bats.
I think it's what 45 consecutive at bats he's taken the first pitch. Breaking ball in there for a call strike. And this is what he's done against the Yankees in this series. 3 for 7. We mentioned the home run, his 20th of the year, and 1 run batted in.
Doesn't tell the whole story though, does it?
No, it doesn't. Because he's played some defense in this series, particularly in the opening game. And he took away about 3 or 4 runs from the Yankees in that game, particularly that man. Chris Young twice tried to hit one over his head, and Chris was robbed by Mike Trout. An all-around performer is Mike Trout. Evaldi ready to go. Off-speed pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 2. High for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fastball popping the glove of Brian McCann. Of all these fastball averages, I think just over 95 miles an hour. It's one of the best in the game. I think it's the best in the league this year.
Well, the velocity is not a problem. Some of the swings against the fastball are the problem. Hitters will tell you they get a great look at it.
Ball in the dirt, knocked down by McCann. Giavotella is on his way to second. So in effect, that takes away the ground ball double play.
A split finger down. Brian McCann tries to block it. He does keep it in the general area, but Giavotella gets a great jump ball in the dirt, advancing into scoring position.
When you're at first base or on any base, you're taught to watch the trajectory of the pitch towards home plate. If it's down low, it might hit the dirt. Be ready to advance. And of course, there was no play on Giavotella at second. 3-2 pitch, swung on it, missed. Strike 3. He got him. So Evaldi strikes out Mike Trout for out number 2. But he's going from the frying pan into the fire next.
It looked like a slider, and it's up a little bit. Trout just swings right through it. Mike Trout kind of saw everything that at bat. Good fastball, split down, and he finished him off with a slider.
The red hot Albert Pujols comes to the plate. We are the first day of July, and in the month of June, Pujols hit 13 home runs. I think he's a viable candidate for Player of the Month in the American League. And a breaking ball is outside for ball 1. Those 13 home runs, including the one last night, tied the club record for the Angels. 13 homers in a month. Mo Vaughn did it back in 2000, and Tim Salmon in June of 1996 hit 13 home runs in 1 month. Outside ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, you'd expect Brian McCann and Evaldi to be very careful right here. The numbers you just documented, Kenny. First base open. Eric Ibar waiting on deck. There's no reason to go right at Albert Pujols here.
Swing and a miss. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Now, last night we saw Ivan Nova strike out Albert a couple times on pitches down, maybe even out of the zone. But once he elevated the fastball that third time up, Albert took him deep. Straightaway center field. Now, to me, that wasn't surprising. Ibar's home run was surprising. Yes. Yeah. Ibar's up next. 24 home runs, leads the American League. The 2-1 pitch hit on the ground. Gregorius on the backhand, straightens, throws, and it's on the money. And that'll do it for the Angels here in the first inning. They do get a leadoff single and nothing else. At the end of 1 here at Anaheim, no score, Yankees and the Angels. Yes, Data Strong fan, and you might just see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. To the second inning, and Brian McCann's going to lead it off for the Yankees against Matt Shoemaker. Shoemaker's first ever start against the Yankees, and he deals low and inside for ball 1. Now, one thing about Shoemaker this year, he does have 4 victories against 6 losses. But the 4 victories have all come on the road. He has not won a game here at home. He is 0-5 in this ballpark. McCann takes a curve, and it's in there for a strike, 1-1. McCann 2 for 15 on this road trip. But over the longer haul, he's been hot. 28 runs batted in his last 31 games. Next pitch, off-speed pitch, pulled foul. And we talked about the Yankees overall as a team hitting much better at Yankee Stadium. I think it has to do with their left-handed hitters in the short right field porch. And the numbers are very diverse, especially for McCann. He's really good at the stadium. 337 at home. Swing and a miss. And he is gone. Just 211 on the road. So 1 up and 1 down. Second strikeout for Matt Shoemaker. Garrett Jones gets the start in right field today. Carlos Beltran, followed by the injury last night, something going on his left side. Carlos said he doesn't have to go on the disabled list, but the Yankees are taking it easy with him.
Go day to day. Joe Girardi would love to give him a complete day off today. Yankees have an off day tomorrow. And you reevaluate on Friday.
Jones takes the first pitch outside for ball one. There are his numbers on the season. Good rip at that one. Fouls it back to the screen.
And this was last night for Carlos Beltran. Pulls the ball foul, a little awkward swing, and then you can see by the body language something is bothering him. Ends up being an oblique. Got the rest of the evening off.
As you said, you got to be careful with it because those can turn into long-term injuries. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Garrett Jones. Jones has been used mostly off the bench by the Yankees. High fly ball to Matt Joyce in left field. This is going to be the 3rd putout for Joyce in the early going. Let's go to Meredith Marakovitz, who has more on Carlos Beltran. Meredith.
Well, Kenny, Carlos Beltran had treatment last night, had treatment again today, and he did say it felt a lot better, so he's encouraged. But Joe Girardi added that they do believe they're going to have Carlos Beltran get that checked out by their team doctors when they get back, just to be safe. And as you mentioned, they'd love for him to get all of today off and tomorrow off and be good to go come the weekend series.
Well, the Yankees taking no chances called up an outfielder today, Taylor Dugas.
Yes, and that's just because they were already down as far as bench players were concerned. They were carrying a lot of guys in the bullpen with Jacoby Ellsbury out and now Carlos Beltran out. That's something that Joe Girardi felt like they needed. So he's a guy that can fill in there if necessary.
And a corresponding move on the roster. Esmil Rogers DFA'd for the 2nd time in a while. The 0-1 pitch hit on the ground to 3rd. And Freese delivers the first. Good scoop by the first baseman Navarro. Of course, Meredith will be back with more a bit later on, and of course on the post-game show. Yankees go 1-2-3 here in the 2nd. No score here in Anaheim. Toyota is the official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees, and this is how the conversation goes. How important do you think it is for a team's manager and general manager to be on the same page? And Brendan X99 says it's vital. General managers bring in players for their managers to use. They have to be on the same page. Well, it doesn't always work out that way, as we found out here today in Anaheim. The Angels general manager Jerry Dipoto has resigned as Ibar hits a fly ball to center field. That's going to be out number 1 as Gardner puts it away. Long-term rift between he and manager Mike Scioscia in Flash. Today it came to a head.
Yeah, Dipoto saying that he's going to resign. Mike Scioscia has been here a long time, 16 years.
On the right there, that is Artie Moreno, the owner of the Angels, who tried to barter a piece and try and work things out, but it didn't work out that way. Here's David Freese, and he takes the first pitch for a called strike.
You know what? It just sounded like it came down to old school Mike Scioscia and new age and Dipoto, with all the information and the metrics and the analytics, and a little maybe lack of communication between the front office and the manager.
Now, we heard that the other night there was some friction in the clubhouse as Dipoto came down to try and pass out his information, scouting reports in a different way to all the players. He gave them iPads. And in other words, he was saying whatever the coaches weren't doing a good enough job. Pitch is fouled off of the plate, and kind of going over the head of Mike Scioscia and his coaching staff. And of course, Scioscia didn't like it, and things just boiled to the point that it came to a boiling point today. Dipoto has resigned. When you look at the coaching staff, there's Don Baylor, the hitting coach. You got Gary DiSarcina, the third base coach. Mike Butcher, a longtime coach. Dino Ebel, the bench coach. Alfredo Griffin, the first base. That's a tremendous coaching staff when you think about it. A lot of experience there. DiSarcina was an all-star for the Angels. Baylor was an MVP for the team. And the interim GM is going to be Bill Stoneman, who was the GM back in '99 to '07 here when Artie Moreno first took over the ball club. So Bill Stoneman takes over as the interim general manager. Ground ball to third for Headley. And that is out number 2. And Stoneman was the GM back in '02 when the Angels won the World Series with Scioscia as their manager. And if you go back further than that, Bill Stoneman was a teammate of mine with the Montreal Expos. And I played behind him in a game in which he threw a no-hitter against the New York Mets. Here's Matt Joyce. So we'll see what happens from this point on for the Angels. I mean, when you look at the Angels right now, they're 6-2 on this homestand. They've won 4 in a row. You would think that everything's going pretty good.
Yeah, and you know what's disappointing, Kenny? Jared Dipoto is an ex-player. So, you know, you would have seen or thought that that would have been a pretty simple relationship between Mike Scioscia and him, but it just didn't work out.
First pitch to Joyce is in there for a strike. This is a team that's 4 games out in the West. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. So Joyce in the hole, no balls and 2 strikes. Pitch is fouled off. You know, in this day and age, Flash, there's got to be a meeting between all the modern technology, the way of measuring players, but there's also the old school, which, you know, it's hard to give up. I mean, managers have a way of looking at players and thinking, this is the guy I want. The 0-2 pitch hit on the ground slowly to the right side, and Drew is going to throw out Matt Joyce. And a 1-2-3 inning for Nathan Eovaldi. So we've played 2 innings here in Anaheim. We're still looking for the first run of the ball game.
is brought to you in part by Benjamin Moore, paint like no other. For a store near you, go to benjaminmoore.com. And by Heineken, open your world. Good look at Laguna Beach.
Nice restaurants down there.
A little overcast day here in Anaheim. Shoemaker back at it for the top of the third. There's Didi Gregorius, Stephen Drew, and Brett Gardner on our Audi A3. Gregorius 0 for 3 last night. Swinging the bat a lot better. He hits this ball hard to right center field. Line drive, base hit.
Yeah, there was a note about Gregorius and how much better he has been swinging the bat. Hit 206 in April, 232 in May, and 258 in June. So each month his average has gone up by at least 25 points. And as you said, he's been swinging the bat better. And right on cue, flash a line drive in the right field for a base hit.
That'll bring up number 9 hitter Stephen Drew. Drew was also hitless last night. The Yankees only had 2 hits, a home run by Mark Teixeira and a base hit by Brett Gardner. 11 home runs, 24 RBIs. The Angels shifting on Drew. Takes first pitch strike.
Now we've talked about the trials and tribulations of Stephen Drew at the plate. His average has been under 200 just about the whole season, but he does show the power. Only one second baseman in the league has more home runs than him, and it's Brian Dozier of the Minnesota Twins.
Drew hitless on this road trip.
Yeah.
Oh for 11 on the road trip. Looking down at third base coach Joe Espada. Kenny, and I think how one-dimensional this Yankee offense has been, hitting home runs. You look for opportunities maybe to hit and run or get something going on the base paths.
Or maybe even a sacrifice bunt. Put somebody in
something
scores.
different. Yeah.
Drew's taking a long look at Espada at third. Showed no signs of bunting.
Drew might not be your best hit and run guy. Swings and misses a lot.
Yeah.
And Gregorius only 3 stolen bases. Not running, and there's that bunt down the third base line. A good one. Oh, nice play by Freese.
Wow. David Freese showing off his defensive talents at third base. I thought this was going to be a hit, but you can see him on the charge here. And he makes an accurate throw for the out to get Drew by about a step. Calls off the pitcher, makes the play himself. Now Drew's going to come away with a sacrifice, but it looked to me like he was bunting for a base hit.
That moves Gregorius into scoring position for Brett Gardner. Brett 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
Now Gardner's been one of the hotter Yankees. We told you he's got an 8-game hitting streak, but he's also been one of the best with runners in scoring position.
Got a chance here against Shoemaker. First pitch breaking ball for a strike. Nine home runs, 39 RBIs for Gardner.
When you look at the Yankee lineup today, Gardner's RBI total is 3rd on the team in the lineup today.
You look at the Yankee lineup and you think all the way back to spring training on some of the questions. How will this Yankee team rebound? Mark Teixeira, you see the numbers with runners in scoring position for Gardner. Had to have a bounce back year. He's had it.
Yep.
I talked about Brian McCann, how he He's probably going to be better in year 2 than he was in year 1, and the numbers bear that out. Brett Gardner just continues to get better and better each year. Rolled over down the first base side. Navarro comes up with it, applies the tag.
I agree with you, Flash, but I think the big surprise in the Yankee offense has been Alex Rodriguez, and nobody knew what to expect from A-Rod this year, whether he still had it or not after sitting out the suspension for a year.
Well, we're at the point now where there's a lot of conversation about All-Star game and who deserves it, who doesn't. And Alex Rodriguez is in that conversation.
Well, it's nice when your team has several choices as opposed to, one designated All-Star every year.
The 2 down will bring up Chase Headley. Flew out to left field his first at bat. Again, the Angels shifting. Gregorius taking his lead down the third base line.
Well, for a team that's looking for some offense, sometimes it's those little hits with 2 outs that drive it around. It not necessarily has to be a grand slam, just something to get the team in a positive frame of mind.
Fastball for a strike.
The feeling that things are going to start to go our way for a while. Joe Girardi has seen the Yankees score 2 runs in 2 games here.
Headley hits this ball hard down the right field line, but foul. We've seen Chris Young hitting second against left-handed pitching. Headley getting a lot of opportunities in the 2-hole against righties. Kind of like him hitting second.
I do, but we all know when Ellsbury comes back, and whether it's Friday or whenever, he's on the horizon.
Yep.
Headley's going back down in the order. Gardner and Ellsbury were a potent combination at the top of the order when Ellsbury was active.
Be a 1-2 to Headley. Hit to right field. It's going to be a looping line drive and a base hit and RBI. A 2-out RBI for Chase Headley, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead.
Well, we were just talking about it. Those are the sort of things that set a team off and get them going. Pick up an RBI with 2 outs, drive in a run. Not Headley's best swing, but he gets the job done. He's out in front on an off-speed pitch and drops it into right field, and the Yankees get out in front by a score of 1-0 here in the 3rd inning. And it was a bunt, the sacrifice that moved Gregorius into scoring position.
Those 2 down will bring up Alex Rodriguez. Alex, a base hit, his first at bat. He'll get his second look at Shoemaker. Fastball up and in.
Despite the fact the Yankees will be flying all night to get back to the East Coast, they do have an off day tomorrow, and I think some of these players, and maybe even Alex Rodriguez, you said he hadn't been swinging that well in this road trip. They can use an off day.
Alex has been getting his hits, but it hasn't looked as clean as he has looked all year. This is the last time the Yankees will be in California. West, get that out of the way.
Yeah, we did mention in the open that their division rivals still have to come out here. And as we all know, during the course of a long season, if you can get those long trips out west over early, it certainly helps your team.
Be a 2-0. Big swing and a miss.
The Rays have 3 games at Oakland in August as we watch Alex Rodriguez swing through a fastball. The Red Sox 4 games here in Anaheim. The Orioles have a 9-game swing through Oakland, Anaheim, and Seattle, August 3rd to the 12th. And the Blue Jays have 2 more West Coast trips.
Throw from Iannetta.
Yeah, I've talked about it before. I think the schedule nowadays is much more difficult to navigate for teams than it was when I was playing, because there used to be 2 divisions. You'd come out west and you'd stay out here and play all 3 stops. The Red Sox, the Yankees, and Baltimore would come out here and just switch cities. Then the western teams would come east and do the same thing. Twice a year they would do that.
Feel like that was easier, huh?
Well,
2-2 just misses.
In the regard that you're playing in one time zone instead of we mentioned that the Blue Jays come out here 2 more times and they only make 1 stop. Then they have to go all the way back or wherever they're going from here to another time zone and play. And I think that's a lot more difficult.
It'll be a 3-2 pitch to Alex Rodriguez. Chase Headley will be on the move. And the pitch from Shoemaker. Fouled off. Just watching Alex Rodriguez in this at bat, some of the swings seem just a little bit longer than we've seen early on.
And this is what Flash is talking about now. He's a little bit out in front of an off-speed pitch there. But when Alex is on, it's straight to the ball and quick.
We'll do it again. Another 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Shoemaker gets him. But the Yankees get on the board by building a run. A little small ball. Gregorius base hit. Stephen Drew lays down a bunt. And Chase Headley, the big 2-out knock, give the Yankees a 1-0 lead. Friday, July 3rd, when the Yankees take on the Rays, and make sure you're there early to see a special pregame medley performance by the Mormon Tabernacle Choir at 6:30. To save up to 50% off select seats, visit yankees.com/MTC and use the offer code Yankee Doodle. Remember, be there by 6:30 p.m. so you don't miss a special performance by the world-renowned choir.
That should be very cool. There's some good music.
Eovaldi out to the mound for the bottom of the 3rd with a 1-0 lead. Catcher Chris Iannetta. The numbers for Chris not great. It's been swinging the bat a little bit better. His last 23 at bats over 300 on our Audi A3 scoreboard. Good fastball from Eovaldi.
If Eovaldi could win today, he would tie Michael Pineda for the most wins on the team with 8.
Well, when you think of Eovaldi and his first half of the season as a New York Yankee, line drive right back up the middle for a base hit. You'd have to say it's been up and down, Kenny. I mean, the win total has been impressive. The Yankees score a ton of runs for him, but there's a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, but I do think you are seeing improvement as the season goes along here. We mentioned his split finger has been much more effective.
Well, the Yankees knew they were getting a big power arm from the Marlins, trying to figure out how to win at the big league level. The number 9 hitter, Efrain Navarro, playing first base in this ball game. First pitch swinging.
Navarro played his college ball at UNLV. I think the most famous player out of the UNLV program, Matt Williams, who is now the manager of the Washington Nationals.
First start in the 3-game series for Navarro. We saw him go in to play some defense late. It's a ground ball right at Stephen Drew. Could be 2 over to Gregorius. The 4-6-3 double play.
Just what the doctor ordered. And erases the leadoff single. Nice play by Drew on the backhand flip to Gregorius. Got hit high, and Gregorius with the strong arm delivers to Mark Teixeira, and there's your 4-6-3 double play.
Two down will bring up Johnny Giavotella. Led off the game for the Angels with a base hit.
By the way, that double play that the Yankees turned is the first one turned behind Eovaldi in 8 starts. Eovaldi, as Flash said, has been improving. And Larry Rothschild, you got to give him some credit. Trying to bring the best out in this young man. Just 25 years old. The Yankees, when they made the trade, saw a big arm. They saw a big fastball. But in this day and age, big fastball is not everything. Eovaldi had some other things in the package, though, that I admire. He holds runners well.
Yeah.
It's a good move to pick off move to first base. So they don't have to work on that. It's just his secondary pitches.
Eovaldi's won 2 games in a row. And he's really bounced back after that outing against the Marlins. 2/3 of an inning. Yeah. 8 earned runs. His last 2 times out, 6 innings against Detroit. Picked up a win. Last time out against Houston, another 6 innings. Another win.
Larry Rothschild was also talking about Masahiro Tanaka. Tanaka will pitch on Friday at Yankee Stadium against the Rays, and he was talking about Tanaka's struggles. He said every pitcher goes through it, and they're hoping the Yankees, of course, are hoping he can bounce back against a division rival on Friday night.
Tanaka had been so good the 3 starts after the disabled list, and the last 2 have not been great. As long as he's proclaiming himself healthy, you look forward to Friday night. Against Chris Archer.
Whoa.
And the surprising Rays, who are still in it.
I think Archer got roughed up in his last start. He gave up 3 home runs after winning about 7 or 8 straight.
He always seems to bring his best performances against the Yankees. That'll be a 3-2. Fouled off.
That was one of those pitches you hope to spoil. That was a fastball to the outside corner. Giavotella really couldn't do much with it, so he just fouled it off. That would have been called strike 3.
Ground ball to Chase Headley. Should be an easy play across the diamond. So Eovaldi looks strong early. 3 shutout innings. Mark Teixeira is going to lead it off for the Yankees in the 4th.
Time for this afternoon's injury report, brought to you by Montefiore Medical Center, Montefiore Inspired Medicine. And there you see it. 3 very important keys to the Yankees season are currently battling some injury issues, but 2 of them are making progress. We already told you about Carlos Beltran. Jacoby Ellsbury is in the lineup for the Tampa Yankees tonight. He's already had 2 at-bats, got a hit in one of them. He's playing center field. Joe Girardi saying earlier today that he'd likely play about 5 or 6 innings, and he's expected to play again tomorrow. And then Andrew Miller took a big step today. He threw off the mound for the first time, 20 pitches. He's going to have tomorrow off, throw another side session on Saturday, so he's continuing to make progress. Now, I caught up with pitching coach Larry Rothschild, and I asked him, is it still possible that Miller makes it back before the All-Star break? And he said because he's a reliever and he doesn't really need that many appearances, it's possible, but at this point in time, it may be tough.
Well, thank you very much, Meredith. On our Lincoln scoreboard, the Yankees lead 1-0. Well, you start thinking about this team, Kenny, and Ellsbury coming back, Miller coming back.
I think the news with Ellsbury, the fact that he's playing center field tonight. He had been the DH in his previous rehab appearances.
Yep. It'll be a 3-0 to Mark Teixeira. Think about this American League East, and I say it all the time, it seems like that every team, they're so close that maybe a trade deadline deal might be the difference, and you start looking at Ellsbury and Andrew Miller coming back.
Yeah.
Big deal. As Mark Teixeira draws a leadoff walk here in the 4th.
I think one thing you have to look at, we know the bullpen's been a major factor in the success of the Yankees. And their offense is much better this year. They're up there in run scoring, home runs. They're a quick strike offense. But I think one thing that has to improve is the starting pitching. The starting pitching ERA is down near the bottom in the league. I think there's only 2 teams worse. The Red Sox are one of them. But Brian Cashman might be looking for a deal somewhere down the line. If you talked about, these teams, each one of them are so close, it might be one deal that could help out. Maybe a bounce back from CC Sabathia, but we haven't seen that yet.
Chris Iannetta going to go have a conversation with the starting pitcher.
So you're right. There are deadline deals out there, and every team especially the ones that are in contention, are looking to help themselves out without giving up too much. They don't want to give up the farm, so to speak. And maybe Brian Cashman wouldn't be willing to part with some of the Yankee prospects. And why not? We saw a lot of them in spring training, and we've seen some of them during the course of the season, and they look pretty good. Players that could help the Yankees in the near future.
Well, you mentioned the rotation. I think Ivan Nova is going to be huge.
Yeah.
What is he going to be? I mean, he threw the ball good last night, struggled a little bit early, then found a groove, then gave up a couple of home runs. Be a 1-0 to McCann.
There is a pitcher down at in the minors working his way up, and one of the better prospects the Yankees have, Luis Severino. And you be sure if Brian Cashman asks for a pitcher from another team, they're going to ask about him.
Of course.
Yeah.
2-0 from Shoemaker. McCann underneath it. Calhoun settling in.
And like Aaron Judge, the outfielder who's moved from AA to AAA, Severino's done the same.
3-0 with a 1.73 for Severino at AAA.
So the higher he gets, the better he gets.
He was impressive when we saw him in spring training. Yeah. And everybody talked about velocity. I remember his secondary pitches.
Yeah.
Changeup and the slider as being above average for a young kid.
Let's put it this way. He's knocking on the door.
Yep.
For Yankee fans.
With one down to be Garrett Jones. Jones hit a fly ball to left field his first at bat. First pitch swinging. Navarro thinks about it at second.
Whoa.
Takes the out at first.
And you can see Ibar kind of saying, throw the ball to the left field side of the bag and I'll handle it. Look, hard smash. This should be a double play, but there's no angle for Navarro. He either has to take a step towards home plate, get the angle.
He's waiting for Ibar to get to second with the shift.
Ibar said, throw it, I'll get there.
Well, the Yankees catch a break, see if they can take advantage of it. Chris Young have an RBI opportunity with 2 outs.
See, with these shifts, it creates all different angles on double play balls, and that was a difficult play. But Ibar thinks he should have thrown the ball. He could have handled it. Here's another look. He comes up with it cleanly. Now he's looking for a receiver, can't find one. He doesn't take a step in to give himself a better angle to throw to second base. Ibar said, throw it, I'm on my way.
Teixeira on second. Chris Young. It's fastball for strike 1.
The Angels have 3 fairly strong arms in the outfield. Trout in center. We know Cole Calhoun really has a gun in right field. And Matt Joyce throws pretty well in left.
So Mark Teixeira should get a good jump at second base. 2 outs.
He should take a bigger lead because the infielders are back on the grass. Take a good secondary lead.
Be a 1-1 to Young. Shoemaker paying attention to Teixeira. Good numbers with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Batting average at .300. The 1-1 just misses off the plate.
Always felt in key situations with runners in scoring position, important to get ahead on the count, make the pitcher throw more of a predictable pitch. And of course, that would be a fastball. Let's see what the veteran Chris Iannetta is thinking.
Chris Young is going to step out, taking a little too much time. I think back when you look at all those fingers going down the sequence with a runner at second base. You know, sometimes pitchers want sign after 2. Sometimes number of outs plus 1 is the hot sign. All these different patterns. 2-1 hit hard. Foul ball.
He got the fastball, wasn't it? Appeared to be. We'll take another look. That looked to be like a cutter. A little slider or cutter. Just out in front of it.
Split finger fastball, the bread and butter pitch for Shoemaker. See if Iannetta goes to it here. That'll be a 2-2 to Chris Young. Works underneath. It looks like this one's going to find the seats.
Well, the Yankees have already had 1 2-out RBI in this game to give them a lead. Can they pick up another one here?
We'll see if Chris Young can deliver. Little quick pitch from Shoemaker. Ground ball to third. Freeze up with it. The Yankees had an opportunity, could not come through. Bottom of the 4th. It's going to be the 2 big guns for the Anaheim Angels. Mike Trout and Albert Pujols having big years. Eovaldi will try to get him out in the 4th. Game starting lineups. You can fill out your 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot now at Yankees.com. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Vote up to 35 times for your favorite Yankees at Yankees.com. Nathan Eovaldi back out to work for the bottom of the 4th inning. We have to go through Cal Calhoun, Mike Trout, and Albert Pujols. Calhoun settling in that 2nd spot in the lineup, has hit in 8 of his last 9 games. And he was a strikeout victim his first at bat against Eovaldi.
To me, that was an impressive strikeout. There's all kinds of strikeouts, but Calhoun had to count 3-1. And he had a runner in scoring position. And Eovaldi came back and struck him out. And the reason why that I think that way, because when you're 3-1, more aggressive as a hitter, the pitcher's really painted himself into a corner. Now, this, if he strikes out here, it would be different. The count is 1-2. Eovaldi is up here. He can make several pitches here. He's not fighting back in the count himself.
Well, plenty of options right here. You can elevate the fastball like he did the first at bat. You can go split finger down. It looked like the split just blocked off the other way.
See, somewhat of a defensive swing, just trying to spoil it.
Well, when you come in to play the Angels, it's all about Mike Trout and Albert Pujols sitting third and fourth in this lineup. They're going to get on top of this Western Division, Kenny. They got to find some contributions up and down the lineup. Fly ball, left field, easy play for Chris Young.
What we say, they had scored like 35% of the team's runs and had 55% of the home runs. So these are the two guys that the opposition has to deal with on a nightly basis.
Mike Trout struck out his first at bat. 20 home runs on the year. That's tied for second in the American League. Mike Trout in the driver's seat ahead in the count 2-0. Goes off speed. What I was talking about in the open, Kenny. You know, it just seems like he's starting to figure it out a little bit, Eovaldi. Instead of trying to overpower lineups with his fastball, a little bit more finesse. It's a hard shot right back at Eovaldi, knocks it down. Finishes off the play. And Brian McCann's going to go out there and see if his pitcher's all right.
Anytime a pitcher's asking for the ball, that usually means he's okay. After being hit by or struck by a ball back through the middle, Eovaldi recovers, throws to first base, and as the ball's thrown around the diamond, he's got the glove up. Give me the ball back. That usually means he's okay. Hard smash, about one hopper. Maybe got him on the ankle. And that is out number 2. Yeah, thumbs up.
2 quick outs. Bring up cleanup hitter Albert Pujols. Ground ball to short, his first at bat. His 24th home run of the year last night. And he's been one of the vocal leaders in that clubhouse, right? Some support from Mike Scioscia and the coaching staff.
Supposedly, although Albert denied it, he said during that rift between Scioscia and Dipoto, he said, told the general manager, we need better players.
Well, he's doing his part. .24 home runs, 49 RBIs. With 13 home runs in June. And in a good hitters count here, 2-0. Eovaldi staying away from him.
You know what's been impressive about Albert's career, and you go back to his days in St. Louis before signing the big contract here with the Angels. His very first year in the major leagues, he drove in 130 runs. And had 10 straight years right out of the box where he drove in 100 runs or more. And then the next year he had an injury and still drove in 99. He just missed. And since he's come to the Angels, he's had 2 years where he's driven in over 100.
Be a 3-1 from Eovaldi. Looked like he did not want any part of that at bat. 2001 National League Rookie of the Year, 3-time NL MVP, a couple of World Championships, All-Star, 2 Gold Gloves, 12 consecutive seasons with 30-plus home runs. And a pretty big contract to go along with it.
That's how you get it. But I will say this, that base on balls by Eovaldi doesn't bother me.
No problem at all.
That's kind of a strategic walk there with 2 outs and nobody on and a 1-run lead.
Well, you figure that would have to be the strategy for every club coming through here. Eric Ibar giving some protection for Pujols. Not your prototypical number 5 hitter in a lineup. 2 home runs, 23 RBIs.
Well, Ibar's been a little warm lately. He hit a home run here last night, but you don't really expect him to be going deep quite often. And to show you the ebb and flow of a baseball season as far as a hitter's concerned, Ibar is now 14 for his last 37. He flied out, so he's pretty warm lately. But prior to that, he was 1 for 27.
Fly ball to center field, his first at bat. Good swing, fouled off. Pujols not much of a threat to run, as 1 stolen base has been thrown out twice, and the Angels not running nearly as much as they had in the past.
Tell you what, if anybody's thinking about jogging at night, you got to get some batting gloves like Ibar has. They glow in the dark.
1-2 from Eovaldi. Ground ball to Drew, over to Gregorius. Force out at second base. So Nathan Eovaldi, 4 shutout innings early on, has only given up a couple of hits, and the Yankees lead 1-0.
Stadium. Those are the San Gabriel Mountains. As we pan back towards the ballpark, Didi Gregorius will lead it off for the Yankees. here in the 5th inning. And Gregorius had a base hit and eventually scored the Yankee run in the 3rd. One reason we showed you the mountains, because back in the day when I played here, which was a long time ago, came out here to play back in the 70s and the 80s, the smog problem was so bad you could very rarely see those mountains. This ball is fouled off, and it is going to be over the tarp and a souvenir. Very rarely could you see those mountains back in those days. The smog problem was so bad. Same thing at Dodger Stadium. But in the years hence, tougher emission standards, fuel efficient cars, and now you can see those scenic mountains. So they've done a good job of cleaning up the air here in Southern California. And I thought, when I looked out there in years going by when I was playing, I said, I'm breathing that stuff. Ball is low and in for a ball. And I've been told that from Dodger Stadium you can see the mountains as well. The same mountain range as San Gabriel's. Ball and 2 strikes on Gregorius. He'll be followed by Drew, and then the top of the order and Gardner. Pitch it on the ground to the right side. Navarro has it. He's going to take it himself. And Gregorius is out number 1 here in the 5th inning. So I feel a lot better when I come out here now.
Tell you what, the traffic hasn't gotten any better. Yesterday was brutal. Trying to get to the ballpark.
Yeah, but the cars are more fuel efficient.
Yes.
Here's Stephen Drew, who laid down a sacrifice bunt that moved Gregorius to second base, where he eventually scored on a 2-out single by Headley in the 3rd inning to give the Yankees their 1-0 lead. Drew swings this time, drives it toward the gap in right center field. Long run for Cole Calhoun. He lays out and makes the catch. Well, that's the second sparkling catch that the Angels have made in this series. Turned in by the right fielder Cole Calhoun. Boy, Trout and he cover some ground out there.
And Drew hits this ball hard, and you're going to see full extension from Calhoun. Timed perfectly. I think he robbed John Ryan Murphy earlier in the series in right field.
You could see it was all up to Calhoun. Trout didn't have a chance. Well, we're going to put this one in yes mode. That means it's special. Yes mode brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. So 2 up and 2 down here in the 5th inning. And Brett Gardner will try and keep the inning going. Gardner is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. And he'll take the first pitch from Matt Shoemaker in there for a call strike.
We'll take a look at Shoemaker and what he feels about this play.
A salute for his right fielder. Pitch by Gardner, fouled off. Count moves to no balls and 2 strikes. Stephen Drew still looking for his first hit of the road trip.
And that's kind of the way his season has gone. Every time he hits a ball hard, it seems like he can't find any holes.
Tell you what, a right-handed throwing outfielder would have had a tougher play. He would have had to reach across his body. A ball and 2 strikes on Gardner. Told you Gardner's got an 8-game hitting streak going. Ground ball towards the middle. Now it's 9. Ground ball right over the bag at second. Gardner's on with 2 outs.
Brett took some awkward swings during this at bat, but able to keep his hands back enough just to flip it right back up the middle. Take a look from the side, out over the plate, and just kind of slaps it right back up the middle using his legs.
Speaking of using his legs, he's got 15 stolen bases. He might be thinking about second here with 2 outs. Headley had the base hit in the 3rd inning. They drove in the Yankee run. He's also flied out to left field. Gardner takes a pretty good lead over there at first base. And he's going to draw some attention. Headley now with 29 runs batted in on the season. Steps off, doesn't throw over. Gardner with that familiar oven mitt on the left hand. Anytime he gets on, might be time to do some bacon here. He's not going. The pitch is hit hard right by Giavotella, who is in short right field. This is going to chase Gardner to third base. So the Yankees, with a couple of singles with 2 outs, are threatening here in the 5th inning.
Well, Chase Headley, his last at bat, kind of had that looping line drive into right field. This ball hammered right through the shift.
See the strong arm of Calhoun, but runners on the corners now for Alex Rodriguez, who has a base hit and has struck out. He's 1 for 2. So the Yankees are threatening here in the 5th to add to their 1-0 lead. Ball is fouled back just to our right, out of play for strike 1. 5 hits in his last 9 at bats, with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
Giavotella, the second baseman, shading Alex Rodriguez up the middle. A huge hole between first and second.
We saw Alex go that way the opening game of the series to pick up a run batted in. That's upstairs, a ball and a strike.
I was mentioning earlier that it seemed like Alex's swing just a little bit longer lately than it has been. You wonder here with 2 outs, runner at third, maybe to shorten up and slap one the other way, take your base hit and an RBI.
There are times where a single will do the job, and this is one of them. A-Rod pops it up to left field. Matt Joyce will have a play. Yeah, he does, and the Yankees will leave a couple here in the 5th inning. As we go to the bottom of the 5th, it's still 1-0 Yankees. Well, July 1st, 2004, and Derek Jeter makes his most famous catch, and John Flaherty comes up with a game-winning hit against the Boston Red Sox in the 13th inning. Those were the thrilling moments of the games, brought to you by Pepsi. Does it seem like 11 years ago, John?
No, it doesn't. Time is flying.
Well, big hit in the 13th inning. You were the last man, right?
Last man standing.
On our Bigelow T scoreboard, the Yankees lead 1-0. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. David Freese, the Angels' third baseman, fouls one for strike one.
I pinch hit for Tanyan Sturtz. We had lost our DH. And I remember going down, running underneath the old Yankee Stadium into the clubhouse, and John Lieber, a pitcher, was swinging a bat. Now, Kenny, I was hitting like 160 at that point in the season, and I remember thinking to myself, if Joe Torre sends up a pitcher and not me, it's time to take it to the house.
Well, you got a reprieve. Big hit, Red Sox, full stadium. Everybody was probably worried about Derek Jeter at the time.
Yeah, we had no idea as teammates what the situation was. We knew it looked bad. Obviously going into the seats, great play.
He played the next day, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Jeter fans all over America, and certainly some of them here for this game. 2-1 pitch to Freese. He hits ground ball to the right side. It's going to sneak through for a base hit. So a leadoff single for David Freese here in the 5th inning.
The Yankees were shading Freese to be a pull hitter, and he just stays inside. Ground ball the other way, finds a hole. See Drew up the middle.
Kind of blocked that one off. So Freese aboard, and Joyce to the plate. The former Ray, the former Tiger, grounded out to second his first time. It's been kind of a rough year. You can tell by the numbers. 189 with 4 home runs.
We talked about it last night, though. Matt Joyce seems to have some of his best days against the New York Yankees, swinging the bat.
And he'll take a hook in there for a strike. He had 2 hits here last night. 2 for 3. Well, the pitch count is pretty good. 66 here in the 5th inning. Throw to first, and yet there's an example of the quick footwork that he has on his pickoff move. And usually makes accurate throws. But Teixeira can just drop the glove on the runner trying to dive back. Ball hit on the ground, foul. In between Mark Teixeira and first base coach Alfredo Griffin. Alfredo, a slip fielding shortstop for the Toronto Blue Jays back in the days when they were on an artificial surface at Exhibition Stadium. When it was cold, it was like rock. It was artificial rock. The 0-2 pitch, fisted in the air to right field, and it drops in. So back-to-back singles for the Angels to get it started here in the 5th inning. And neither one of them hit all that well.
Yeah, it's got to be frustrating for Eovaldi. Throwing the ball well this afternoon. Freese just hit a ground ball the other way. Joyce gets jammed. Just muscles it into right field. And the Angels all set up here in the 5th inning.
Gary DiSarcina, the third base coach, going through a series of signs for Chris Iannetta, who comes to the plate. The Angels catcher does have a base hit his first time up. Iannetta has yet to have a sacrifice bunt this year. So we'll see how the Angels play it. The Yankees are expecting the bunt in the infield. Headley's in on the grass at third. The same for Teixeira at first base. No sign of the bunt there as he takes a pitch for a call strike. Sarcina looking over into the dugout for his cue. There are the signs. It all means something, or it might mean nothing.
Well, we talked about it. Iannetta swinging a better stick lately. Mike Scioscia giving him an opportunity to swing the bat. I like the pitch selection, though. First pitch slider.
1-1.
There's always that doubt with the pitcher catcher in a situation like this. If the manager, Mike Scioscia in this case, is going to put the sacrifice bunt on. Brian McCann doing a nice job calling a slider.
Now Headley's dropped back a few paces at third because there's been no sign of the bunt in the first 2 pitches. There's a called strike, 1-2. No sense looking down there now. Eovaldi looking for a ground ball to one of his infielders. Try and get a double play. One-two pitch. There's a ground ball towards third. Headley has it. He goes to Drew for one. Drew to Teixeira. There's your double play. There's 2 down. On the play, Freese will move over to third. Second double play that Eovaldi has induced.
Headley had an option. He could have went to third and then across to first. He decided to go to Stephen Drew at second. It turned perfectly. Perfect situation. The catcher at the plate does not run well. Plenty of time to turn it. A big pitch by Eovaldi.
So now 2 outs, a runner at third, and the number 9 hitter Efrain Navarro will come to the plate. Navarro hitting to the other double play. It went 4-6-3 back in the 3rd inning. Inside with a breaking ball for ball 1. Another hook, and that one drops in there for a strike. Impressed. I see you nodding your head.
He just seems so much more under control and understanding. When things get going faster in a ball game, you can go to your off-speed pitches a little bit more. A couple of curveballs. Brian McCann slowing Eovaldi down earlier in some of these counts. And then you're able to deliver the fastball late.
That's high and away, 2-1. So in other words, some pitchers get in trouble. They try and throw harder.
Yeah, and you would classify them as throwers. They're not pitchers. They just try to overpower a lineup, and a lot of times it doesn't work out. You watch Eovaldi and his pace today. Everything seems to be under control.
There's Freese at third with 2 down. Swing and a miss. 2-2 and another hook. How much credit do you give McCann for these calls here?
Plenty. And you got to execute the pitch, but I think you have a pitcher catcher on the same game plan right now. And like I said, this is a perfect situation. 4 off-speed pitches in a row. If you want to try to rush that fastball by the number 9 hitter, it's a perfect opportunity to do it, or you could go split.
Fastball, and he's late. He fouled it off.
And that's what this combination is what I really saw in that Houston game. Off speed, off speed, off speed, and then you rush a fastball up there and the hitter's late.
That last fastball was 100 miles an hour. Two pitches on the way, and it's high and away. 3 balls and 2 strikes now on Efrain Navarro. Eovaldi trying to pitch his way out of a jam here in the 5th inning. Three-two pitch. Ground ball to second. This should do it. Drew has it. Throws to Teixeira. Freese is stalled at third base. It's still a 1-0 lead for the Yankees as we head to the 6th inning. Most reliable internet. It's going to be a good matchup at the stadium on Friday night. Chris Archer 9-5, very good ERA. Masahiro Tanaka, a few shaky starts of late. Of course, coverage begins right here on Yes. It's 6 p.m. Here's Mark Teixeira, flat out and drawing a walk and a swing to miss, strike one. They get the 6th inning rolling here in Anaheim. Teixeira, McCann, and Jones for the Yankees here in the 6th. A ball and a strike. Shoemaker's pitched a pretty good ball game, but he's been outpitched thus far by Nathan Eovaldi.
I mentioned it in the scouting report. Shoemaker was a tough luck loser his last time out. 6 innings, 2 earned runs against Seattle. The Angels lost that game.
1-2 on Teixeira. You saw on our Benjamin Moore scoreboard the Yankees up 1-0. Teixeira among the league leaders in extra base hits. 34 of them. Look out, up and in. Count levels at 2-2. 61 hits on the season, 34 of them for extra bases. He's got 2 hits on this trip, a double and a home run. He eyeballs his way to a 3-2 count. Here comes the payoff pitch. Ground ball to the right side. Let's see who's going to get it. It's going to be Ibar, who snow cones it, throws on to Navarro, and there's one down. Looked like Teixeira was out in front of an off-speed pitch.
It looked like that split finger. Just rolled it over a little bit. We'll take another look. Actually up out over the plate, just way out in front.
And the thing about the double that Teixeira hit, it was in Houston and it was to the gap in left center. He didn't have that type of power last year. We're trying to recover from that wrist surgery. McCann taking all the way, and that's downstairs for a ball. Matt Shoemaker's first ever start against the Yankees. A pitcher who won 16 games last year, 16-4. This year, not the same sort of season. He's 4-6 coming into today. And this year he's been allowing about 2 more runs per game. That pitch is low. So McCann ahead on the count. Lifted in the air. Ibar, the shortstop, calling for it. And he has it, 2 down. And McCann is now 0 for 3. And that'll lead up to Garrett Jones here in the 6th. Now, John, I talked about the fact that the Yankees do not have to come back out here anymore. And, you know, maybe you can explain what kind of factor it is as you go into the second half of the season.
I mean, obviously the different time zones, I mean, really affect you. And you think about it, even the Yankees flying back home tonight have a whole off day tomorrow. But that whole day is spent trying to get back on East Coast time. Looking forward to Friday night's game.
Jones takes one knee high for a strike. 0-2. It's almost like a day of decompression. You get back east, so you got to get everything going. You know, when you look up, all of a sudden, wow, it's getting dark already. The 0-2 pitch, and Jones will foul it back to our left. The count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Now, I always thought when you came out west, that first day you tried to stay up as late as you possibly could, even though you were on East Coast time, to try and get yourself acclimated to the time difference out here. 0-2 pitch is hit high in the air, deep to right field, way back. This one is gone. A home run for Garrett Jones, and the Yankees lead 2-0. And that is his 5th home run of the season. In Flash, he said one of the problems for Shoemaker has been the long ball.
Yeah, 16 home runs now on the year. And you even get more specific on an 0-2 count. A mistake to Garrett Jones, and he made him pay. 5th home run of the year. Fastball in, and he just beats him to the spot.
That was a no-doubter. You see Calhoun taking the last look at it. Chris Young takes a pitch outside for a ball. So Garrett Jones with number 5. Two balls and no strikes on Chris Young. Young twice is grounded to the third baseman Freeze. Chris Young was thinking about another run. 2 balls and a strike. That is a real mistake pitch when somebody hits one 0-2 out of the ballpark. You've got a hitter on the defensive mode. I should say in the defensive mode. Cesar Ramos is warming up.
Take another look, and it looks like a fastball that just sailed back over the plate. Jones getting some good extension through the zone there.
3 balls and a strike on Chris Young. Now the count is full. Ball is lined into left field. It's going to be in there for at least a base hit. Joyce over towards the line. Young is headed for second. Here's the throw, and he's in there. So a 2-out double for Chris Young. And the Yankees have a runner in scoring position. A hustle double.
Chris Young, a good job of pulling his hands in to get to that ball, keeping it fair, and right out of the box he's thinking about a double. Joyce, the accurate throw. Chris Young just beats him. Good look on the side, pulling his hands in close to his body, getting the bat head on the ball, and then right out of the box, head down, thinking about a double.
You know, even if he gets thrown out, that's a good play to go to second. Try and get yourself in scoring position. There's going to be a pitching change as Mike Scioscia has made the call to the bullpen, and it's brought to you by Verizon. Division rival Tampa Bay Rays in an afternoon clash at Yankee Stadium. Coverage begins at 12:30. Then catch all the action only on Fox Sports 1. The new pitcher for the Angels is a left-hander, Cesar Ramos, and he'll come in and he'll face Didi Gregorius. Ramos this year, you can see his numbers. He's stranded 26 of the 31 inherited runners that he's faced this season. And he has allowed 22 hits in 22 and a third innings. And Gregorius today, first batter he'll face, is single, scored a run, and grounded out to first. Gregorius up here now with a chance to drive in a run. You can see Chris Young at the bottom of your picture there. He's in scoring position at second after hammering his 11th double of the year to knock Shoemaker out of the game. First pitch. And it looked like Gregorius helped him out. He chased it, strike one. Yankees 2, the Angels nothing. Ball chopped towards the middle. Over to his right, Gianfratella had a little problem with it, but got it there just in time to get Gregorius. But the Yankees do pick up a run here. Garrett Jones hits one deep into the seats in right field. His 5th home run of the year. It's now 2-0 Yankees. Fans, it's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag #YesDataStrongFan and you might just see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Angels half of the 6th inning. Yankees up 2-0. Top of the order to face Nathan Eovaldi, who thus far has given up no runs on 4 hits. He has struck out 2 as we look at the Benjamin Moore scoreboard, and just given up 1 base on balls.
It's going to be an important inning for Eovaldi, going through the lineup the 3rd time.
Ball is looped in the center field for a base hit. So Giovitella is on here in the 6th inning for Los Angeles. Hit number 5 for the Angels.
3rd time through the order, plus the big boys Trout and Pujols going to be coming up this inning. Pitch count at 80.
There might be some stirring in the Yankee bullpen pretty soon. Here's Calhoun, who has struck out and fly to left. Here's Yankee bullpen coach Gary Tuck picking up the clipboard. It has the Angel lineup on it. Strengths and weaknesses of the hitters. That pitch is in there for a call strike. 98 miles an hour.
Eovaldi had to work a little bit in the 5th inning. Back-to-back base hits. He got a double play ball. And the 6th inning is going to be a big test for him. 81 pitches.
Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
Rested bullpen for the Yankees with the day off tomorrow.
The Yankees have only used 2 relief pitchers in this series. So as Flash said, the bullpen rested. Pitch off the corner, 1-2.
Pineda did a nice job that last game of the Houston series, so that bullpen ready to go. Chasing Shreve, getting his gun hot.
Eovaldi's ready as Giovitella takes his lead at first base. The 1-2 pitch, swung on it, missed, strike 3. As Calhoun loses the bat and is struck out for the 2nd time.
Both of those strikeouts have been on the high fastball. Eovaldi has plenty left in the tank. Good velocity, elevates.
If you know a hitter is going to chase that, you can put it up where he can't get to it. You know, fastballs look good up in the eyes of hitters, but you really have to be disciplined, because that pitch is really tough to hit. Here's Mike Trout, struck out and grounded out. Starts him with a curveball and it misses outside for ball 1. As Flash said, now comes the tough part. These 2 hitters, Trout and Pujols.
Eovaldi's done a good job with Trout. Struck him out. Hard ground ball right back at him that he made the play.
Another hook. That one's in there for a strike. 1-1. The Angels have had 3 MVPs in their history, and Mike Trout's one of them. Winning the award last year. Swing and a miss, strike 2. You go back to 1979, and Trout's current hitting coach, Don Baylor, was the MVP in the American League. And in 2004, it was Vladimir Guerrero. Here's Don Baylor. Nickname was the Groove, because when he got in the groove, it was hard to get him out. The 1-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? The appeal is denied. First base umpire Jim Reynolds says no, and the count levels at 2-2 on Trout.
This is how the Angels get it done offensively. Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, responsible for a majority of their runs.
And the buzz level in the ballpark picks up when these two guys come up to hit. Check on Giavotella.
Thinking back to these at-bats from Mike Trout from Eovaldi, everything has been away and off speed. Hasn't tried to challenge him in yet. Might be an opportunity to do it. We saw from CC Sabathia, you go inside, better be off the plate. Although Eovaldi obviously has a better fastball.
Yeah. You got to get it above his hands. Yeah, because Trout likes that low one in. He's much like a left-handed hitter. He likes it low and in right-handed. Low and away, knocked down by McCann. No advance. But now the count is run full at 3-2. You
see Mike Trout as he takes a little stroll out of the batter's box. And thinking back to that first at bat, it was a strikeout on a 3-2 slider, I believe. Hitters always remember how you got them out, the at bats before.
Or at least they should.
They better.
3-2, 1 out and 1 on. Yankees up by 2 here in the 6th inning. The dangerous Mike Trout at the plate. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and it just missed for ball 4.
Eovaldi went with the same pitch he did the first at bat. We'll look at the entire pitch by pitch sequence. Nathan Eovaldi against Mike Trout. First pitch curveball misses. Second pitch slider for a strike. Split down, good swing. Slider misses. Another split, good block by McCann, and then finally a slider off the plate. Ball 4.
So 2 on, 1 out. Here's Albert Pujols coming to the plate as Trout hits the first base. The Angels have the tying runs on. Pujols is grounded to short. He's also drawn a walk. And we're going to have a little discussion here. This could be the key part of the ball game. And they certainly want to be on the same page. One of the hottest hitters in the game at the plate. The league leader in home runs. Got 24 home runs this year. Hit 28 all of last year. That's the type of year that Pujols is having. Starts him with a breaking ball and misses outside for ball 1. Not too good with runners in scoring position. But there are those who will tell you when Pujols steps to the plate, he's already in scoring position.
Those numbers are shocking.
Yeah, they are.
We were talking earlier about his whole career. He's been an RBI machine.
That's his nickname, the Machine. Two balls and no strikes.
Eovaldi putting himself into some dangerous counts here.
I have a feeling he's got the green light if he wants it.
Whenever he wants to swing the bat, I think Mike Scioscia will let him do that.
Yankees trying to protect a 2-0 lead here in the 6th inning. Ball 4, a 4-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded. And Joe Girardi's coming to the man he wants, Jason Shreve. And Shreve will inherit a tough situation. Bases loaded and 1 out. Off a big weekend series with the division rival Rays. Complete coverage begins at 6 with the Audi batting practice today and the Tri-State Ford pregame. And that's only on Yes. Even the ushers get fired up here. Here's Eovaldi. That's what he did this afternoon. 5 1/3, 5 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 2 of them coming this inning, and 3 strikeouts, and he threw 94 pitches. And gives way to Chasen Shreve, who's been very solid out of the Yankee bullpen, but this is a tough situation. Bases loaded, 1 out. Eric Ibar, switch hitter, coming to the plate. Those are the numbers. 5-1, 1.72. Opponent's batting 160. Ibar's 0 for 2 today. Switch hitter. He's a better hitter from this side of the plate. He's a 300 hitter, right-handed. Infield at double play depth. Shreve delivers, and the first pitch scooped out of the dirt by McCann. It's ball 1.
And Ibar runs pretty well. The possibility of a double play will be tough to turn. A good block by McCann.
Shreve has retired 54 of the last 65 batters he's faced. As we said, he's in there in a tough situation now. Bases loaded, 1 out. Yankees up by 2 here in the 6th. Ball is popped up. Let's see who's going to call for it. It's going to be Gregorius, who makes the catch, and there are now 2 outs. So the Yankees are 1 out away of getting out of a major jam here in the 6th.
Right-handers 134.
Wow.
Big reason for that split change, but he's able to run a fastball in on the hands of Ibar. Great pitch, great result.
Yeah, left-hander's not doing much better at 205. Here's Freese, who is 1 for 2. He had a single last time up, leading off the 5th inning. Eovaldi rooting on his teammate, Chasen Shreve. And the first pitch is low for ball 1. Shreve from Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, he's got some family here. They've been here to watch this series. And this is a chance for them to see him pitch firsthand.
One thing that his family probably knows about him, is very stoic. He doesn't show any emotion out there. Seems like he's always under control.
Ball hit on the ground. Headley has it. Straightens up across the diamond in the dirt, but scooped out by Mark Teixeira. Teixeira with a big play, and that's it. The Angels, the base is loaded, 1 out, do not score. This is like a lawn dart, but he's got it. That's it for the Angels here in the 6th. It's still 2-0 Yankees.
Williams postseason heroics on an all-new Yankeeography, Moments of Glory, featuring exclusive interviews and insight from number 51 himself. That's next Wednesday at 11 o'clock, only on Yes. Great job by Chasen Shreve to end the 6th inning. We move on to the 7th. It'll be Stephen Drew leading off. Drew 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt.
Yeah, what a play on that last play. I thought Headley had a couple options there. Maybe going to second for the force, but he decided to go to first.
He thought it was going to be a routine play, but it didn't turn out to be. Mark Teixeira with a nice pick of the ball in the dirt.
Here it is. Here's the ground ball. He has it here. And starts to juggle, throw. And Teixeira, man, he saved the infielders this year. You can see the look on his face. Hey, don't test me like that.
Drew hits this ball hard to right field, and it's deep. Calhoun going back. It's going to be off the wall. Stephen Drew into second base with a leadoff double.
Stephen Drew picked on the wrong ballpark. This is Yankee Stadium. It's another home run for him, but this one high off the wall in right field. It's going to be a 2-base hit to get things started for the Yankees here in the 7th inning. Cole Calhoun, well, he knows his ballpark well, plays the ball off the wall and gets it back in quickly. In fact, he barehands it off the wall. Let's see how the Yankees play it here. There's nobody out. We've seen him build a run in the 3rd inning with a sacrifice bunt. Here's Gardner to the plate. And Gardner, you know, even if he's going for a sacrifice, the pressure he puts on the infield is because of his speed. He can beat it out for a hit.
Brett 1 for 3, extended his hitting streak to 9 games. Angels expecting the bunt. See if Joe Girardi keeps that bunt on or lets Brett Gardner swing, one of the hottest hitters on his ball club. Shows bunt again and takes strike 1.
Angels, of course, in on the corners. Freeze at 3rd. And Navarro at 1st.
Be a 1-1 to Brett Gardner. Squares the bunt, and it's a good one. Gets past Ramos, but he makes the play. So a sacrifice bunt for Brett Gardner. Stephen Drew advances to 3rd.
That came very close to being a base hit. Gardner gets the job done. Moves Drew over the 3rd base. Here's Navarro. It's not going to be him involved in the play. He doesn't know whether to stay or go. It's going to be Ramos who flips to Giafatella for the out. That ball almost got by the pitcher.
Brett Gardner a little confused at the end result. The end result's going to be a sacrifice bunt, and the Angels are going to make a pitching change. New York Yankees may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. The new pitcher for the Angels, Fernando Salas, faced Chase Headley. Headley a couple of base hits today, an RBI. The Angels are going to play the infield in. 3 infielders on the right side, trying to cut down that run. Stephen Drew at third, 1 out. Another RBI opportunity for Chase Headley. Numbers for Salas, 1-1 with a 4.5 ERA. Opponents hitting .254 against Salas. Interesting decision by Mike Scioscia. Headley hitting .204 against lefties coming into this one, .265 against righties.
Headley's already had a big hit in this game today. Single in the 3rd inning to drive in Gregorius.
Be a 1-1. Another foul ball. The situational hitting so important in a close game. Headley behind the count 1-2, just trying to put this ball in play.
Yeah, we are in the tack on period of this game. Trying to tack on a few insurance runs. Andrew Miller talking it over with Brett Gardner on the bench.
Be a 1-2 from Salas. Headley slaps it to the right side. Giavotella makes the play. Stephen Drew stranded at third.
So not this time for Chase Headley.
2 down. It's going to bring up Alex Rodriguez. Had a base hit his first at bat, struck out, hit a fly ball last time.
Now the Angels can drop the infield back with 2 down.
Two nothing Yankees, top of the 7th. Swing and a miss by Alex Rodriguez. Bullpen is a strength of this Angel club. Jose Alvarez getting loose. Fernando Salas trying to close out the top of the 7th. Chase Headley to roll over a ground ball. Now heading to count 1-2. Alex Rodriguez as a fastball misses.
They've been staying mostly with the hard stuff with Alex in today's game.
The Angels playing him pretty much straight up in the infield. Another swing and a miss by Alex Rodriguez. For Fernando Salas, a nice job coming out of the Angel bullpen. Yankees lead 2-0. dealer. Yankees lead 2-0, 8 hits against 5 hits for the Angels. Headley, RBI single. Jones, a solo home run, and Eovaldi, very solid. 5 in the third, 5 hits. Did not give up a run. Walked 3 and struck out 3.
Well, the Angels have just handed out a press release, and it's in regards to the resignation of their general manager, Jerry Dipoto. And they mentioned the fact that senior advisor Bill Stoneman will now assume the GM responsibilities on an interim basis throughout the remainder of the 2015 season. And this announcement was made by club president John Carpino.
We have the pinch hitter Daniel Robertson for Matt Joyce. As Chasen Shreve back out there for the bottom of the 7th.
And that is something that we talked about earlier in the game. And they mentioned in the release that they appreciate the efforts of Dipoto, who signed Albert Pujols, C.J. Wilson, Houston Street, David Freese, and Joe Smith, among others. So
be a lot for Mike Scioscia to talk about after this game.
Yeah, but the new GM Bill Stoneman is somebody he's worked with before. In fact, they were the tandem that won the World Series in 2002.
1-2 to Robertson in the dirt.
Shreve with a major effort last inning. Came in with 1 out and bases loaded, got a pop up and a ground out.
You think about the bullpen moving forward. I mentioned it was well rested. Wilson, Betances. Ball hit to Headley. Good throw over to Teixeira. 1 down here in the bottom of the 7th. We're going to go back to Bob Lorenz in our studio for another update. Forward to that, Bob.
Wow, we are getting no-hit alerts like 1 a week now.
1 down. It'll be Chris Iannetta behind the plate for the Angels today. Iannetta base hit and grounded into a double play.
Tell you what, Joe Girardi calling on Shreve in a big situation now. You might not have seen that early in the year, but Shreve, when you look at the way he's been pitching, is not allowed a run over his last 14 appearances. So Joe Girardi getting him into high leverage situations, and you can't get much more than higher leverage in the bases loaded, 1 out, maybe no outs, but it was a tough situation. You got the Yankees out of it.
The 1-1 to Iannetta. You think at the back end of the bullpen, Wilson is rested, Betances is rested. Adam Warren pitched last night, so he's not available.
Saw Betances stretching last inning. He was walking around. Andrew Miller, just a matter of time before he's back.
Yeah, good news with him. I thought that would be after the All-Star break, but it sounds like it might be a little sooner.
Shreve not happy with that last pitch. Here it is. And he kind of left it high and away, and you can see how he turned away after he delivered.
The 3-1 to the Angels catcher. Good swing foul to straight back. Leave spring training, every big league ball club, I think the biggest question mark, how are things going to shake out in the bullpen? Shreve making the team, didn't even know if he was going to make it, now a major contributor at the end of some of these ball games.
I believe that got the home plate umpire Cubby Culbreth. He wasn't even staggered.
Fielding is all right. Take another look at it.
See McCann look back. He knew it didn't hit him.
Be a 3-2. Hit hard at Headley. Knocks it down. Comes up with it. Good throw. 2 outs.
3 to last assist by Chase Headley, and that was the toughest of the 3. This is a rocket off the bat of Iannetta. Off the heel of the glove, keeps the ball in front of him, scrambles, has time with the catcher going down the line. Don't take that personally, Flash, and he gets him out number 2.
2 down. It's going to be Efrain Navarro playing first base today. Get into a double play and grounded out to Stephen Drew his last time. See fielding Culbreth behind home plate, the umpire today, and I immediately go back to 2005, working a game in Toronto with Randy Johnson. And fielding went at Randy Johnson that whole game. Randy was in one of those moods, wasn't happy with the strike zone, and he did not back down an inch.
Big unit wasn't going to intimidate him, huh?
Not at all, not that day.
That certainly didn't hurt Randy Johnson's career. He's got to make a speech pretty soon here.
A couple of weeks.
Yeah. Along with John Smoltz and Pedro Martinez and Craig Biggio. A lot of people he got to thank. Hall of Fame career.
Well, the Yankees just were in Houston and they're celebrating Craig Biggio there. First Hall of Famer from the Astros.
Yeah. Originally from Long Island.
Seton Hall.
Yeah. The thing about him that impresses me about Biggio, he was started out as a catcher, was smart enough to move to second base, and then went out to the outfield.
See Justin Wilson getting loose, and Biggio, a great athlete, able to move, make that transition. As Jason Shreve picks up a strikeout, a very solid job out of the bullpen for the New York Yankees. Yankees still lead 2-0.
By Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. By People's United Bank, the way you bank, but way better. And by your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2015 models. On to the 8th inning. Yankees up 2-0. Mark Teixeira is going to lead it off. 0 for 2 with the base on balls. And the first pitch from Salas is over the outside corner for a call strike. 19 homers and a league-leading 54 runs batted in for Teixeira. On our Hyundai scoreboard, it's 2-0 Yankees as we move to the 8th. Good swing, and he fouls it back. And he falls into that 0-2 hole. Teixeira, McCann, and Jones for the Yankees. Daniel Robertson, who pinch hit, stays in the ball game and will play left field. Ball with 2 strikes. Teixeira's home run against the Angels the other night was the 25th of his career against his former team.
Forgot about that.
Yes. Remember, the Braves traded him to the Angels, and Teixeira in 54 games hit 13 home runs. Then became a free agent. Angel fans, some of them haven't forgiven him because he left and signed with the Yankees. The 2-2 pitch, swung on it, missed, strike 3. Salas picks up his 2nd consecutive strikeout. So Teixeira will give way to McCann. And Teixeira mentioned the fact that he was an East Coast guy. You know, he's from Maryland. And of course the Orioles got involved. They thought they had a chance to sign him back to his hometown. But at that time the Orioles weren't really playing all that they weren't playing solid baseball. Teixeira signed with the Yankees. They won the World Series. Pitch to McCann, and he hits it to the left side, and it's through for a base hit. So Brian McCann goes against the shift, and he has a 1-out single here in the 8th inning.
Well, we'll see if that at bat gets him back on track a little bit. Angel shifting. Brian McCann says, I'll take that fastball away and slap it past David Freese.
Well, there was enough room on the left side for the USC band. And that's going to be it for Salas as Mike Socher's going to the bullpen once again. So with 1 out and 1 on, the Angels make a pitching change. Yankees are up 2-0. New pitcher coming out of the pen. the WB Mason postgame. Get a recap of tonight's action and the highlights from around baseball. Plus, Meredith Marakovitz gets the players' thoughts about the game. It's all coming up on the WB Mason Yankees postgame, and that's only on Yes. All right, the new pitcher is Jose Alvarez as Mike Scioscia goes to the left-hander. He'll be facing Garrett Jones, who today is 1 for 3, but that one was a big one. His 5th home run of the season in the 6th inning to give the Yankees their 2-0 lead. He's up there with 1 on and 1 out. And the first pitch from Alvarez is low and away for ball 1. And that's ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Two-0 pitch, and Jones taking, and that misses. 3 balls and no strikes. Now, Scioscia called the left-hander Alvarez in here because Jones has come to the plate. He walked him. 4 pitches. It's a base on balls, and the Yankees have 2 men on.
That is not going to make Mike Scioscia happy. One guy who is happy is walking right up to the plate right now. Chris Young, great numbers against left-handed pitching.
I was thinking the same thing. The lefty pitchers are throwing some pitches this year right down Chris Young Boulevard. He starts the day at .356 against left-handed pitching with 5 home runs. 2 on 1 out. First pitch in there for a call strike. 1 for 3 today with a double. His 11th of the year. That came in the 6th inning. We are now in the 8th. The Yankees up 2-0. Count levels at 1-1. McCann's at second. Jones at first.
The Yankees would love to get a little separation here. Not a whole lot of speed on the bases. They're always worried about Mike Trout and Albert Pujols in a close game.
2 balls and a strike. Chris Young looking for something he can square up and maybe get over the head of Mike Trout in center field.
I'd stay away from Trout.
Yeah, I think he learned his lesson in the opening game of the series. Trout robbed him twice. Great plays. Ball 3. 3-1. Now you can really look for something in your go zone. Young had a couple of home runs on this trip in Houston. 3-1 pitch. Driven. And it's going to be in there for a base hit in left field. Joe Espada's going to hold up McCann at third base. So the base is loaded. And there's 1 out. Let's go back to our studios. And Bob Lorenz with an update. Bob. Oh, Bob. 1 strike away. And he gives up a base hit to Joey Butler, who's having himself a pretty good year.
Having a nice year, he is.
Wow. We have seen some close calls. Here's Didi Gregorius. Bases loaded, 1 out. A chance for the Yankees to tack on here. Alvarez's first pitch is hit in the air to center field. Trout coming on. He's not going to get it. The ball drops in for a base hit. McCann comes in to score, and it's 3-0 Yankees. A bloop single off the bat of Gregorius gives the Yankees an insurance run.
Well, DD, the numbers are not great against left-handed pitching, but does a nice job just staying on this, flipping it into right center field. We'll take a look at the pitch again. Elevated out over the plate, hits it off the end of the bat. The Yankees will take it, give them a little separation in this ball game. Bases loaded, still only one out.
Another left-handed hitter at the plate, Stephen Drew. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, comes on. Now Alvarez, since he's come on, he's walked the batter and given up 2 hits. Oh, Drew will get a chance. Drew's 1 for 2. Had a double high off the wall in right field in the 7th. Was robbed of a hit by Cole Calhoun in right field in the 5th, and also dropped down a sacrifice bunt. So he's had a productive afternoon. Trying to be even more productive here in the 8th inning. The first pitch, and he lines it towards center field. Trout is there, is going to make the catch. Jones will tag, but he's not going to come in. He's going to hold at third as Trout makes a strong throw. You can't hit it much harder than that. It was going to have to be much deeper to get Garrett Jones in from third base, though.
Well, you think about Stephen Drew's day, and he's not happy. I mean, he hit a ball hard to right field, got robbed of extra bases. It's this ball right on the nose to center field. But with Jones at third, and Kenny, you mentioned the throwing arm of Mike Trout. Wise decision not trying to score from third. Well, we've seen him make some great plays, and on Yes Mo, you watch him make a strong throw. And pretty accurate.
So now there's 2 down. Base is still loaded, and Brett Gardner at the plate. It's going to take a hit. Get a run in here. Oh, wild pitch. And the first pitch from Alvarez is in there for a call strike. Way upstairs, and it's a ball and a strike. Bases loaded, 2 down. The Yankees have added a run here in the 8th inning. Gardner 1 for 3 with a sacrifice on the afternoon. Fouls that one back to our left. And now he drops behind on the count. Ball and 2 strikes. Gardner's been one of the best Yankees this season, with runners in scoring position. A .352 hitter. Strike 3. Alvarez strikes out Gardner looking. The Yankees leave the bases loaded, but they do add an insurance run. We played 7.5. It's 3-0 Yankees. Is back as NYCFC looks to continue their hot stretch in the match with the Montreal Impact. Watch New York City FC presented by Etihad Airways Saturday night at 8. That's right here on Yes. Well, the Yankees have gone to the bullpen, and they have gone to the hard-throwing left-hander, Justin Wilson. And Wilson will get the top of the order. Giovatelli, Calhoun, and Trout. Yankees up 3-0 in the 8th inning, trying to salvage the final game of this series as we look at the Hyundai scoreboard. Giovatelli is 2 for 3. He's had a couple of singles. There's that fastball, 95 miles an hour, and it's a strike.
If you're Joe Girardi, you're thinking about the final 6 outs of this ball game. Wilson will get an opportunity here in the 6th. Ellen Betances already starting to go through his routine.
That is low, and it's 1-1. Justin Wilson, born right here in Anaheim, California. Now makes his home in Clovis. And attended Fresno State. So he's California all the way. Oh, you can hear the pop of the glove. 95, strike 2.
Yeah, he's been on a good run lately, and that's what it's really been. Just a lot of fastballs, attacking hitters. Not allowed a run over his last 14 appearances.
He nods yes. He's ready to go. The 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Yankees just about straight up defensively for Giovatelli. Hits the ball all over the field. Full count, 3-2. Here are the numbers. 36th appearance, 2-0. Good ERA. 23 strikeouts and 27 1/3. 14 walks, maybe a bit too high, but you can see they don't hit him very often. Just a 183 batting average. Calhoun's on deck. Here's your 3-2 pitch. And it's a little chopper towards third. Headley charging, comes up with it, throws on the run, and there's one down. Headley's had a busy afternoon over there at third base. And with Mark Teixeira at first, well, they've been a good combination today.
Well, he's nice and aggressive coming in on it, gets a short hop, and then the throw over to Mark Teixeira to complete the play. But a good job by Wilson making sure you throw a strike there in a full count.
6 assists this afternoon for Chase Headley. Here's Calhoun. 0 for 3 with a couple of Ks. That pitch is over for a strike. Low and away for a ball, 1-1. You get a lot of players from California. You got to be sure when the visiting teams come in, that pass list is busy. Two balls and a strike. I mentioned that Wilson now lives in Clovis, California. That's up in Fresno County, which I would imagine is somewhere near Fresno State.
I would assume so.
The 2-1 pitch, and Calhoun will foul it off. Years ago, I had the pleasure of playing in the California League in the minors. Played for Visalia. And that's one of the towns I would like to go back and see what it looks like now, because I enjoyed my time there. That was A-ball. And Fresno was in the league. Fresno was a Giants affiliate in those days. The 2-2 pitch. Call strike 3. Calhoun strikes out for the 3rd time. This time he's caught looking by Justin Wilson.
You see Brian McCann setting up away. Boy, Justin Wilson just peppers the glove right there and gets the call.
You know, one thing I remember about Fresno playing there is that the legend of Ollie Brown was still hot. Because Ollie Brown, playing for Fresno, earned the nickname Downtown Ollie Brown. He hit 47 home runs.
Wow.
1 year in Fresno. Here's Trout, who's 0 for 2 with a walk, and the first pitch is low and inside for a ball.
Good job by Justin Wilson, making sure you take care of the hitters before Trout and Pujols. 3-0 game.
The 1-0 pitch, Trout taken all the way, and that's in there for a call strike. Betances looks like he's ready to go out there in the bullpen if called upon in this inning. But Wilson trying to make it a 1-2-3/8 against the Angels here. Ball's hit in the air to right field. It hit pretty well. On the move is Gardner. He's not going to get this one. In fact, this one is gone. A home run. Mike Trout with power to all fields. It's his 21st home run of the season, and that puts the Angels on the board. It's now a 3-1 ball game. That ball just got over the fence in deep right center field.
It's so important to take care of the hitters before Trout and Pujols, so that if you do make a mistake, it's fastball right down the middle of the plate, and Trout drives it the other way. The only question, would it have enough height? Thought it might have been off the wall. His 21st home run of the year.
So Joe Girardi goes to the bullpen. He's going for the big man. Dellin Betances trotting out of the pen. .938 to be exact. Justin Wilson gives up the home run to Mike Trout. He has now been replaced on the mound by Dellin Betances, who is being called upon for a 4-out save. First man in face will be Albert Pujols, who's 0 for 1 with a couple of walks. First pitch pulled in there for a strike. Gosh, it's getting to be that time of the day where it could be tough for the hitters to see the ball, and you got these hard throwers. So I'm even more impressed with Trout's home run. There are the numbers.
And Dellin has had some time off. His last outing Saturday in Houston.
Ground ball to third. Headley again across the diamond, and that's it. The Angels are done here in the 8th inning. They pick up a run. Matensis prevents any further damage. It's 3-1 Yankees.
Of the game, top of the 6th inning. Garrett Jones on an 0-2 count. It's his 5th home run of the year that gives the Yankees a 2-0 lead. At that point, Garrett Jones responsible for your Land Rover drive of the game.
Headley lines the first pitch of the top of the 9th inning into left field for a base hit. So he's had a good day all around. 6 assists. Been very solid at third base, and that's his 3rd hit of the game. Good day for Chase Headley. Yankees leading 3-1. Alex Rodriguez will come to the plate. He's 1 for 4. Single in the first inning. Since then, he's struck out twice and flied to left. It's in there for a call strike. The Yankees still in attack on mode. Trying to make things easy for Dellin Betances in the bottom half of the inning. One and one. Certainly on a getaway day anywhere, the team that's traveling makes that flight a lot easier to handle with a victory. A-Rod smashes one just underneath the jumping third base coach Joe Espada, and the count moves to 1-2. Ball grounded towards the middle. Could be 2. Ibar to Giovatelli. On to Navarro. There's a 6-4-3 double play. So Well, that will erase the leadoff single. And leave it up to Mark Teixeira here in the 9th inning. A-Rod now 1 for 5.
I think Alex will look forward to that day off tomorrow, regroup a little bit.
I'm sure there are a few guys in that boat. Teixeira's 0 for 3 with a walk. And a sweeping breaking ball drops in there for a call strike. Check swing. Did he go? Jim Reynolds says he did not. And it's a ball and a strike. Ball is popped up down the left field line. Is there room for Robertson? It seems to be, as he crosses into foul territory, hangs on and makes the catch. So Teixeira fouls out. Robertson with a nice play in left field to the delight of the Angel fans. We're coming back with the bottom of the 9th. Here's a look at the rack pile and beyond the fence in left center field. Yankees with a 3-1 lead here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Dellin Betances on the mound. Yankees 3 out away from a salvage win in this series. They lost the first 2. Dellin Betances looking for his 7th save of the year. Ibar's a pretty good bunter. He's 0 for 3 on the afternoon. So he squares around the bunt, takes it for a call strike. He had Headley chasing, I should say, charging from third. Teixeira even with the bag at first. Breaking ball drops in nicely. No balls and 2 strikes. Multiple weapons for Betances. It's not all about the heat. He's got one of the better breaking balls in the league. Very sharp slider, in between a slider and a curve. The 0-2 pitch gets away from McCann all the way back to the screen, and it's 1-2. Ibar, Freese, and Robertson are the scheduled hitters for the Angels here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Check the swing. He did not go. That's Paul Schreiber saying that the count is even to 2-2. Joe Girardi trying to pick up a win against the Angels. If the Yankees win this game, they will take the season series from the Angels 4-2. Inside, ball 3 all the way back to the screen. Full count now. Remember, the count was 0-2.
Brian McCann getting a workout behind the plate. Obviously, with a 2-run lead, this is an important pitch right here, 3-2. Whatever pitch selection you go with, make sure you throw it for a strike. Breaking ball misses badly.
And he misses. Low and inside, ball 4, a leadoff walk to Ibar. So after Betances got the count to 0-2, there's really nothing close.
Will drive a manager crazy right there. 0-2 turns into a leadoff walk in a 2-run game. David Freese coming to the plate with his 10 home runs and 34 RBIs.
Freese is 1 for 3, the single in the 5th. His two other at bats, he grounded to Headley at 3rd. Just a little low for ball 1. 98 miles an hour. He went around as Freese chases one out of the strike zone. It's 1-1. Ball is fouled off 1-2, and just sitting and watching and hoping. Of course, the Yankees are doing the same thing on the other side of the field from their dugout.
The Yankees will be just fine as long as Mike Trout and Albert Pujols are still in that dugout. You don't get to a chance in this game where you have to see them again or for the rest of the year.
Ibar's on the move. The pitch is low away to throw to second. He's in there.
We talked about how well Brian McCann is throwing the baseball, and this is a nasty pitch to try to throw on him. Curveball in the dirt. Brian McCann just picks it, rocks on his back leg, and fires a perfect throw. Ibar just in safely. You can't do it any better than that if you're Brian McCann.
Yeah, one thing, the difference here is that he got a good jump off Betances. Betances is a big man. It takes a while for him to unload to home plate. And even so, it was fairly close through the efforts of McCann. So runner at second now. 2-2 count on David Freese. Full count, 3-2. Betances trying to make this interesting.
Well, we've seen Dellin come out of the bullpen days where he could throw his breaking ball anytime for a strike. He's struggling in this ball game with his off-speed stuff.
Ball is popped up to the right side. Teixeira calling for it. He holds off Drew and makes the catch, and there's one out. So with one down, the left fielder Daniel Robertson will come to the plate. Robertson's had one at bat. He faced Shreve in the 7th and grounded to 3rd. He took over for Matt Joyce, who started the ball game for the Angels in left field. Runner at second, 1 out, the 9th inning. Grounded, foul. Over the head of third base coach Gary DiSarcina. I mentioned the other night, Robertson, a long-time minor leaguer, over 700 games in the minor leagues. Getting a chance here in the big leagues. swing and a miss on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
Kenny, you talked earlier how tough it is to get on top of a high fastball, and then you throw 99 miles an hour on top of it.
In this at bat, at this juncture, Betances in the driver's seat. No balls at 2 strikes. Curve outside, 1-2. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, says Jim Reynolds. Robertson has struck out, and there are 2 down here in the 9th.
The last 2 breakables from Betances perfect. Down and away, and you see from the side, bat head comes through. Good location there with 2 strikes.
See McCann with the appeal, and Robertson turns and heads to the dugout. The Angels this series 0 for 22 with runners in scoring position. Chris Iannetta has a single in 3 at-bats. Check swing. Ball's outside. Ball 1. 0 for 22. Ball 2. That one just missed. A long look at the signs, and now he's ready. Ball 3. 3-0. Well, Betances is going to have to fight his way back. That's Efren Navarro in the on-deck circle. "22 pitches here. There's a breaking ball. 3-0.
3-0 breaking ball.
In their first strike.
That's to a hitter who's hitting 184.
You're not taking any chances on a green light, huh? The 3-1 pitch. Fouled off. Another heater up there at 98 miles an hour. Count is full. Angels down to their last strike. Navarro hoping for a chance. The veteran, Chris Iannetta at the plate. Yankee fans hoping for a win. 1 win, just 1. That's all they can get in this series. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Check swing, and it's outside for ball 4. So Iannetta, who has a good eye, draws the base on balls, and the tying runs are on base. So a pinch runner at first base for Iannetta. It's going to be Taylor Featherston. And a pinch hitter for Efren Navarro. It's going to be C.J. Cron. Cron did hit a home run in this series. He hit it off Sabathia, and it wasn't a cheapie.
It's an interesting choice for Mike Scioscia. Instead of going with the left-handed hitter against Betances, who doesn't have a lot of power, he goes with Cron, right-hander with plenty of power.
Well, you know what he's thinking. One swing in the bat.
One swing in the bat.
Yeah. You mentioned pinch runner at first base, Featherston, running for Iannetta. He represents the tying run. A lot of power. You also get a lot of strikeouts. In there for a strike with a hook. So Betances has managed to make this interesting in the bottom of the ninth. He's walked a couple. 2 on and 2 outs. The 0-1 pitch swung on and fouled off. 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Thrown in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes. An anxious Joe Girardi looks on. He just saw the pinch hit numbers. Where does he go? Breaking ball? Let's see. 0-2. Yeah, it was, but it's way out of the strike zone. 1 and 2.
And really rushed that delivery down the hill behind with his arm. Not a great pitch. Cron had a good swing at the fastball.
One-two pitch swung on and missed. Strike 3, and that will do it. Betances 2 walks and 2 strikeouts here in the 9th inning. The Yankees do indeed salvage the final game of the series with a 3-1 victory. It'll be a happy flight back to New York.
Cron, the good swing at the fastball, not so great on the breaking ball, and the Yankees able to salvage a game here. Baldy was good, the bullpen great. Joe Girardi likes it.
So Betances picks up save number 7. The Yankees do win. Entertaining game. They pull it out by a score of 3-1. Let's go to Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry in our studio.